Hello, you guys. So the last I spoke to you, we was talking about the flight or fight situation, and a lot of people said, of course, fight. When you are dealing with these situations, when they say to fight, there's different tactics that must be played out and mapped out. When they say fight, it doesn't mean physical. So a couple of suggestions that was given as advice of how to handle if you are a targeted situation. Number one is to ignore. Number two is to seek help. And number three, treat people as if they wanted to be treated. The golden rule, as you see displayed here in my background. So I'm here to tell you I tried all three. I tried ignored, and let me tell you the outcome. The outcome didn't bring anything by ignoring it. I still was harassed. My tires still was slashed because I was ignoring them because they wanted some type of feedback. Okay, so then I tried the other tactic by seeking help. When I seeked help from um, officials, as far as your police department, that didn't work. That backfired as well. So then you try to seek help from family members and friends. That helped to a minimum. One family member gave me advice of websites to look up. Some ignored. Some gave me spiritual advice. Some just didn't say anything, and some gave me street advice. Okay, so that will work better than ignore. Next, I tried the tactic of do unto others as others want to be done unto you, meaning I started to watch them like they watched me. That ruffles some feathers, okay? Meaning, when these people get out their car and stand there and watch you on a daily basis, I got in my car and stood there and watched them back. For instance, I have this man that comes on my street and stands in front of my house, my unit, and just there. So guess what? I did the same thing back to him. Stood in front of his apartment and watched him go in the house. Okay? Guess what happened? Now they're banding together to have five, three, five, four more come at the same time and just try to flood the walkways or do whatever they do, and I walk right through with my head held high. But it's ruffling their feathers because they don't understand what's going on. So when they use the tactic of do unto others as others want to do in order for them to taste their medicine, they don't know how to handle it. So it goes to show you how powerful you are as an individual. Because I had to deal with this for years and never did nothing because I tried the ignore tactic. But when I turned around and gave a bully a taste of their own medicine, they get nervous and they get scared and then they want to band together. Now it's like three of them, and they have the nerves to ask me a question and said, is something wrong? What did I ever do to you? And I ignore them. I don't say nothing. As for you, do the same that they do to you. They're not giving you no answers if you were to ask. So if you wanted to use that tactic, I'm just letting you know it's a way to do it. Don't say nothing when they got questions to be asked. But my advice to you is do what works for you in your own situation. My situation is different because I have kids involved. These people actually, my son is only like 11 years old, sit there and walk behind my son when I'm not around. And he has a cell phone. And he had to call me to the point where it was so bad. He said, Mom, it's like three of them just standing there looking at me. I'm scared to cross the street. Oh, I lost it. I lost it, you guys. I lost it. But I handle it in a way that I use the law against them. Okay? Very smart. You look up your laws in your city. I used the tactics of the law against them where they had to be removed because they was in the school zone with no kids. Why are you waiting around the school when you know that all these school shootings, you shouldn't be around here, right? And you don't have no kids. Boom, so they had to be removed, right? Get it? Because they would stand there and wait for my son as he walked, and then all of a sudden they feel like they had to leave. These same people. So we knew for a fact it was them waiting for me or my son. But my son's old enough where he walks a certain mile and I meet him, or sometimes he just calls me and then I meet him. And this day, to the point they was standing in his walkway, a child, you guys. So that's why I said I had to up my tactics and let them know I see you. Y'all better leave us alone. And then they have the nerves to get nervous and want to get scared. And then they caught this other lady. She looked like a government official. She comes out and stands with her clipboard, act like she's on her phone. Why? Because they're recording everything. Because they want you to attack. So you got to have emotional control. If you're going to do the attack they do unto others, others do unto you. Because they're going to try to ask you questions or speak to you. So you choose what tactic. So overall, sorry for the pause. The number one goal is to choose what tactic works best for you. Overall, you never have to forget the power of prayer, because the power of prayer brings a lot of peace within the time of need. So number one, I know for a fact that work as well, but sometimes it's hard to only go into prayer when you are physically, mentally being harmed. So that's the only reason why I gave out these three suggestions that you can do in your physical world, meaning ignore, try to seek help, or try to let them know that you know what's going on. Like I said, my situation is different, where it's coming to the point where these people abuse the power that was given to them, because these people are taking their position that was given to them and abusing it and using it to cause harm. So I have to let them know, like, I see you watching me. You guys are not understanding what you're doing to me and my child. When my child calls me in fear, I got to let you know you have to stop and back up now. When y'all follow and harass me as an adult, that's fine. But when you're harassing a child, it's time for you to let them know enough is enough. I'm going to close it out with this. See, choose what tactic works best for your situation. Always have emotional control, especially when you have to stand up for yourself in order to let them know that enough is enough. I don't say nothing to you guys. I don't do nothing to you guys. But when I turn around and watch you, now everybody wants to get nervous and ask questions and figure out what's going on. But nobody wanted to figure out what's going on when I said nothing and y'all stood there and watch me on a daily basis. The problem that I'm having, you guys, is that the tactics that are being done to me, my items are getting tampered with. Physically, like I said, getting harmed, and physically and verbally getting mentally abused. Meaning, like I said, when I go places, you will have somebody more than once say racial slurs, and I believe it's because they know that um, I'm one of the person that's proactive in trying to fight for justice. I have been to not a lot of protests. I've been to three physically where I actually stood with the signs and like, no justice, no peace. Or I did a silent protest where we walked through our local mall just in silence. Okay. Also on social media, I display a lot of information to people that's that have their rights violated. And this is not for rights of color, it's for anybody, period. So that's why they attack me harder.